Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry. I'm going to indulge myself here at the top. So if you're a first-time listener, maybe skip 5 minutes in because you don't know my backstory. For everybody else, I'm not doing a bit here. I'm really bothered. I know this is going to sound like a bit, but I am truly bothered. I'll give you the news story first. Sebastian Maniscalco is getting a channel on Sirius XM. It is Sebastian Maniscalco's Comedy Radio. And why I'm bothered is it's taking over Channel 99, which was the home of Raw Dog Comedy, which I used to program many moons ago. And let me tell you, for a radio guy, this is painful. Raw Dog Comedy was one of the great radio stations of all time. Now, obviously, I'm attached to it. I'm biased. I programmed it. But my radio hero growing up was Howard Stern. And when I met Howard Stern told me Raw Dog sounded great, which was the radio compliment of my life. Sebastian Maniscalco said, joining SiriusXM and launching my own channel is a huge moment for me. Honestly, the real comedy may come from trying to teach my father how to find SiriusXM in his car. Hilarious. That alone could be its own weekly series. Now, I will tell you, back in the day, Raw Dog Comedy was right at the top of the most popular stations. And it was cool. The other stations might be branded, the blue-collar guys, they were great to work with. Jamie Foxx, great to work with. But Raw Dog was its own thing. It was comedy uncensored. And when we came on the scene, that was a new thing. And like all great things, it was great because the bosses weren't paying attention to it. And we did things to make ourselves laugh. We would just throw shows on the air and have fun, play uncensored comedy. And then 9 years into my 10-year career, the organizational structure changed. And I found myself in a room with a guy now running programming for some reason, and says to me that his wife doesn't know the comedians we're playing on the Raw Dog channel, to which I said, but that's the whole value proposition of the channel, is we're on the forefront of comedy. We're going to all these comedy festivals because that's how we stay sharp. And then we come back and we play people before they become famous while playing the hits. I programmed this thing. I did what's called an ABC rotation. I'll teach you music programming real quickly, okay? Three categories, A, B, and C. In the A category, you play things really tightly. B, you have more than you have in the A. And then the C is a big, giant bucket of comedy. So new stuff goes in the A, or stuff that you want to push goes in the A. So like right now, Robbie Hoffman would be an A right now because Robbie Hoffman's hot. You want to play Robbie Hoffman and Nikki Glaser and John Mulaney and Jim Gaffigan and Sebastian Maniscalco. Those would be your A's. And then over time, that material gets, a little tired because you've heard it, and you drop it down into B, and then over time, the B's fall out of B and fall into C. And that's how we program this thing. And then for, I wasn't there very long, we dumped it down and we turned it into Raw Dog Comedy Hits, and I was forced to run the Ron and Fez program. So now the Raw Dog channel has gone away. It's been called Raw Comedy for I don't know when. At some point, they stopped calling it Raw Dog and started calling it Raw Comedy, which is lame and vanilla in itself. So I am sad to see this go. Now, the big guy in the corner office, he loves names. He loves putting faces on the brochure, and I'm sure the marketing people will be really excited to see Sebastian making a dumb face on the thing next to Conan O'Brien and Kevin Hart and whatever else is on there now. But boy, this one personally pains me. Raw Dog Comedy Uncensored. Rest in peace. One of the all-time great radio stations. Sebastian might look good on the brochure, but is it cool in any way? Absolutely not. Back in those days, I got to know Ralphie May reasonably well. Good guy. I was very fond of him. The documentary Come What May is out on May 28th. It includes archival footage of Ralphie May, chronicling how the loving husband and father fell victim to enablers, addiction, and abuse, causing his bright light to burn out far too quickly. There is a trailer. Let's take a listen.
You tell my story, be honest, good and bad. I'm a very flawed and imperfect man.
You know who you need to see. Listen, Ralphie May.
From Houston, Texas, Ralphie May.
Ralphie May.
Can't see this about that person or that about this person. The last group left is fat people. We're it. We're the last ones left.
He was a common man with uncommon abilities and insights.
I want to go back in time, find the guy who been a carrot cake and punch him in his face.
He knew how to tap your soul to make you be like, okay, it's gonna be all right.
I was born in Tennessee, raised in Arkansas, and moved to Texas when I was 18. I'm Southern. I'm my own cousin. Okay.
Boom. It was just detonation. It was really just like pulling the pin on a grenade every night.
I've lost like 270 pounds the last 2 years. Don't clap. It's not a real accomplishment. You lose a whole fat man and you're still fat as hell. I had gastric bypass surgery. I asked her again to marry me.
He lifted up his shirt and he said, I got gutted like a catfish. I want to be here with you. I don't know what else I can say.
I had a lot of trauma when I was growing up, and then I started masking that with weed and food.
His pain was directed towards himself.
Time to tell myself the truth. I'm a food addict.
He said he was off of pills, and he did a great job of hiding them from me.
Daddy, please pick up the phone. Please call back, Daddy.
Mid-conversation, and he just went...
I love stand-up. It's fantastic. It's the greatest job, but I don't have a normal life.
He was very kind. He was very generous. He was a great person. And he loved to make people laugh.
A lot of comedians want to be TV stars. I just wanted to be a great comedian.
How many people in this world can legit make you lose yourself in laughter?
Ralphie was larger than life. He never did anything with subtlety. Everything was big. He spread a lot of laughter and a lot of joy.
Hey, my name is Ralphie May. Y'all been great. Thank you so much.
David Letterman has weighed in on this whole Byron Allen CBS 1130 thing. Here's David Letterman.
It's Comics Unleashed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's going to be here instead of the Byron, the Barbara Gaines.
Byron Allen's a billionaire.
Oh, man. And as we always mention, when he was a kid, like 14, he and I were together with a group of people who wrote for Jimmy Walker.
Did you know back then that you were looking at a young...
No, he was a kid, and I always thought, this is great. Here's a kid who is interested in show business. Jimmy Walker, big star. Yeah. And then you had Stooges. There was a guy named Wayne Klein who was a joke machine.
Right.
Elaine Boosler was also a very funny young comedian. Jay Leno and myself, and I think Marty Nadler, who had something to do with Laverne and Shirley, and Byron Allen, who was literally 14, and his mother would drive him to these writers' meetings.
Why would they replace the talk show with that?
Money.
Yeah, they don't want to spend any money, so they're going to make money. They charge Byron Allen some reasonable price. He sells all the advertising for his Comics Unleashed, and it'll be, I think, 90 minutes or 2 hours of comics talking about funny stuff. The show is a pretty good idea. It's all panel. Nobody's doing any stand-up except they're seated doing stand-up.
While I'm depressed about Raw Dog Comedy Uncensored meeting an untimely death, Philomena Cunk is back, so at least there's some good in this universe. The character created by Diane Morgan, who plays Cunk, known for her deadpan style and ill-informed questions as host of several documentaries, is returning for another mockumentary series, this time about movies. It's called Cunk on Cinema, which follows Cunk on Britain, Cunk on Earth, and Cunk on Life. It is billed as her most glamorous series to date. It'll be a 3-parter. It's now in production. It will air on the BBC and Netflix. The logline: Cunk will attempt to demystify it all while sitting in lumpy seats with stale popcorn, asking herself, where did cinema come from and why? And what does it want? And why can't it tell us? Cunk said, cinema has given the world some of the most profound, memorable, and moving visual moments in its unswerving depiction of the human condition. The shower scene in Psycho, Death playing chess in That Swedish Thing, and Tom Selleck's glistening mustache in 3 Men and a Little Lady, to name but all 3 of the only examples I can think of at the moment. There will, unfortunately, be some bits in black and white, but we'll keep that to the barest minimum. Looking forward to that one. The Flight of the Conchords. Boy, they're hot. I mentioned last week I thought about going out there and I saw the $600 ticket price and I'm like, maybe not. My new kick is concert DVDs/Blu-rays. Did I talk about this? I know I wrote about it on the Substack. I was like, I'm not going to see Springsteen. He's charging too much. But I was in a Springsteen mood, so I just threw in the DVD of his London show and hit play. And I was like, this is great, because this is the 2009 E Street Band, which was a lot closer to the traditional E Street Band. No Danny, but Clarence was still there. And then at one point, Bruce went into one of his speeches, and I was like, at a concert, I'd go get a beer and go to the bathroom right now. So I got up and got a drink and went to the bathroom, came back, and Bruce was still in the middle of the story. And then I watched the rest of the show, and then I was home in 0 seconds. So that's kind of my move. Maybe I'll just watch Flight of the Conchords on HBO. I digressed. Brett McKenzie discussed how the reunion came to be. He said there were always offers simmering around, but we haven't done anything for a while. We'd been jamming a little bit last year, just trying to write some new ideas with no intention of booking a tour or anything, but just for fun. We've got a great booking agent, Nick. And Nick said, oh, guys, here's this offer. It's in LA. What do you think? And it was just sort of the right type of gig for us. It's not too big. We're not going on the road for 6 months. I think it was just one gig, and then they added a second show. And we were committed to one gig, so we were like, we can manage one gig. Brett says, we've got a song called Jenny, which is about two people. The song's about a guy and a woman, Jenny. Anyway, we were like, let's have a go, see how much we can remember. And the song's about him struggling to remember, and both of us are struggling to remember, and we got halfway through the song, and like, I don't know what happens. I mean, I know there's a baby, but I don't know how we get to the bit about the baby. And then we have to pull up the recording, and you can actually just Google our own lyrics. We were laughing at jokes that we'd forgotten. There are no plans for the Conchords after the festival, although based on the demand I'm seeing, I won't be shocked if that changes. Brett McKenzie said, it'd be fun to do some more, but we're just going to take it and see it as we go. Playing live is pretty fun for us. Jermaine has a really busy schedule, a lot of film work, acting and stuff. The live shows are quite good because you can go, oh, we can get a week, so maybe we could do something there within those few weeks. It seems more realistic than blocking out a year or two. The audience is just psyched, man. It's cool. I mean, there's one benefit of not playing for 8 years. It builds up a little bit of interest. A lot of our audience has never seen us play. The last time we played Australia was 2012. It's so long ago that a lot of people have never had a chance to see the live show. Don't forget to vote for Comedy Survivor. We're down to the finale. Nikki Glaser versus Sarah Silverman. Who will win Comedy Island or whatever we're doing? Here's what you do. You go to the Facebook group. You vote one of them off. We are voting off. You're voting against somebody. So you vote off Sarah Silverman or you vote off Nikki Glaser. You go to the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, and you write down the name of the person you want to lose. Speaking of Sarah Silverman, she's got a new gig. The team behind Netflix's Nobody Wants This have cast Sarah Silverman to play Rabbi Eden in the upcoming third season, described in Variety as the warm, quirky teacher of an Intro to Judaism class and a supportive presence for Joanne and Noah. Fun fact, Sarah's sister, Rabbi Susan Silverman, is a rabbi. I could have phrased that better, but I'm depressed over Raw Dog Comedy. But you probably figured out when I said Rabbi Susan Silverman that Susan Silverman is a rabbi. I need a laugh to cheer myself up. Tim Dillon made fun of Meghan Markle, which is, one of the things I do as the writer on the Palace Intrigue podcast. We're having a big week because Meghan and Harry are down in Australia, and everybody's just hating on them, and it makes writing the show really easy. Tim Dillon was on that podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey. Tim Dillon said, I think Meghan will eventually find her way into some type of talk show because she's failed at the Martha Stewart route, which she wanted. She was slinging jam at Target. She wanted to have a lifestyle brand. Spade said, jam was an interesting choice. It's probably an uncrowded market. Other than Welch's, I can't think of too many. Tim Dillon said, she definitely needs to adjust her strategy. I could also see her going back to the UK and saying, let's give it another go. Dana Carvey said, I think they do have to go back and stir the brand again. Dillon said, I think we're all a little tired of her shtick here. I don't think it worked as well as she thought it would. I think her idea was to come back to America and say, listen, the British are really racist, but they do know a lot about dinner parties, and I've learned that, so I'm here to tell you how to live like a human being and what fork to use, you pig, you American pig. And I think that felt a little condescending. She had that show on Netflix where she was basically like, now, this is what they call a saucer. You put your coffee cup in it so it doesn't spill over your illegitimate children, you animals. I think people got a little turned off by that. Thank you, Tim Dillon, for cheering me up. The Moon Tower Comedy Festival gets a little more serious in Austin today. Let's take a look at the schedule. Brad Williams at the Paramount at 7 o'clock. That's pretty cool. Matthew Broussard and Jackie Cation doing a doubleheader at the Cap City Comedy Main Room at 7. Beth Stelling at the Greek of the Cave at 7:15. Maybe for a late show, the Texans at the Velveeta Room. Looks like a bunch of comedians from Texas at 9:30. The Melbourne Comedy Festival continues. The folks at Scenester went to see Lou Wall. They write, last year, a clip of Lou Wall performing a musical number about selling a bed on Facebook Marketplace went ridiculously viral online. 3 separate people sent it to me. So you can imagine, I had high expectations when heading to check out Lou Wall's 2026 show, Where Are All the Tall Grandmas? Scenester writes, the show left me wondering, is there a prize for best opening to a show? Because if there is, Lou Wall might take it. In 2025, Wall was nominated for Most Outstanding Show. And it was easy to see why. All right, we should probably play a clip from Lou Wall, John. All right, here's a clip from Lou Wall.
Hi, what is up? Hello. My name is Lou, and recently I've started going to therapy. But I'm not like normal therapy, like completely online virtual therapy, which is a risk. But I thought, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if it doesn't work out, I'll turn it into a comedy bit. And here we are. This is how it began. Hi, Lou. My name's Jessica. I'll be your new internet therapist. Shall we start with some personal details so I can get to know you better? Sup, Jessica. I'm Lou. Really excited to be working with you. What would you like to know? Name, age, address, credit card info. I was like, well, my name is still Lou. That hasn't changed since my last message to you. My address and credit card are private. I'm 29, but honestly, I've looked 40 since I was 12. Sedekaka. Sorry, I'm just like joking around. Please don't take that as a reflection of my mental health.
Good stuff there. Scenester says Wall was an affable presence on stage, endearing themselves to the crowd from the get-go. Their impressive singing voice was a surprise, but their goofy humor, combined with smart quips, was as brilliant as I had anticipated. That is your comedy news for today, right? Go vote for Comedy Survivor, Facebook group Daily Comedy News, and Raw Dog Comedy Uncensored. I miss you, old friend. Rest in peace.